James Gunn's brother, and the mocap for Rocket and Groot, which, side note, you thought he was busy in the first film. Where was I? Right, I have a feeling that he was actually just hedging his bet since the writing was on the wall with a razor base over there or whatever, especially considering this. I knew he got that newer, bigger, more comic-accurate fin, but I didn't expect him to get shot in the head to need it. Dang.
I wouldn't say
it's not ripe. I'm not saying James Gunn is definitely a Rick and Morty fan.
I would say, is it for the younger audience?
It's very graphic.
Very graphic, and there's other scenes, if you catch my drift.
Other themes.
If you catch my drift, that isn't very good for the younger audience, though I've heard that it's a very excellent game.
Yeah.
I see it all over my dashboards on Tumblr, I see it on Instagram, I see it everywhere, people reviewing it, memes of the game.
I feel like it is definitely obviously tailored towards an older
generation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the older generation, we grew up with Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Percy Jackson. And I know a lot of younger generations grew up with Percy Jackson, but that's like, I feel like Percy Jackson got the hype of the gods, or like even the Avengers. The Avengers Infinity War that recently came out. We did, just like that, we actually, I think this game, if I read it correctly, it is about the Norse gods right now. So that would be Thor, Loki, and stuff like that.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, but I know that it's a whole series, so I don't know if there's other, gods and like maybe like Egyptian, Greek, stuff like that. I don't know if the other series are for those.
Yeah.
But I do know this. I think this one is for the Norse gods.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially if you have a game titled God of War, war isn't exactly the most beautiful flowers and daisies thing, so you have to expect the game to be kind of gruesome.
Yeah, of course. And like even like the gods, like I'm a really big fan of mythology.
Yeah.
Greek, everything. And they're brutal. They're they're brutal, and they're like the most like there's people who I don't like. If you're young, I read them as a young age, but like there's like not only are they brutal, but it's actually really like sexual. Like they're really sexual, and it's like I should have read it as a young child, but I have because that's what I was into, and that's what I like. But what do you expect from gods? Like, especially some of them are really cocky. So especially the ones that are really cocky, or the evil ones, so to say.
Yeah. And then another game that, well, not just recently popular, it's been popular for a while, would probably be Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Fortnite. Fortnite's been popular forever,
oh my God.
I think.
Yeah, it's everywhere. You can't get rid of it.
I can't believe it's went on for this.
Honestly.
It's been on for like months.
I feel like it's been over a month.
It's been on for like months. Like, I feel like it got hyped in like February, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Probably, I'm not sure.
Maybe
I feel like it's just always been there now. Maybe
it's sooner because I just feel like I hear about it. Like it's on my dash every day, every time I look. Yeah. It's on my dash. I hope everyone knows, but if everyone doesn't know how to do the gameplay, like not gameplay, but if everyone doesn't know what it is, you're basically on a bus that drops you off at like different locations. You can fly. Off the bus
to choose where you kind of land.
Where you land, and then you go scavenger hunting for like guns, weapons, bandages, water, everything to get you.
And you kill everyone.
Oh yeah, and you have to kill everyone. That's the basics
of the goal. It kind of like, don't hate me for this, but I feel like that slightly reminds me of like the Hunger Games, like the last one standing.
Yeah, but also
they're not similar in the storyline.
It's also like I know like this is like to make me sound like a douchebag, but it's also a lot like Call of Duty, because like the last one standing, it's a lot like the popular games. That's why it's popular. Also, it's a first shooter. Like for me, that's why it got me. Because like not only it's like a first person type of thing. Like I like the stuff like Call of Duty, like the shooter things. Yeah. But it's obviously not a shooter. Like some of it's not a shooter because you have like little big.
I used to play Call of Duty, but what kind of drove me away from that honestly was just the other people playing it.
Oh yeah.
There's so much negative like. Angry. Like, if I died or I failed somehow, it's just like, you're a terrible player, what's wrong with you?
See, like, I usually go out of people, like, I go out of, like, those things, because I see people playing, or they end up leaving right away, or I leave, because I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to deal with you people. But anyways, enough about Call of Duty. But the Attack on Titan is coming back with a new series. It's supposedly coming out July 22nd of this year, which I know everyone will be psyched for because.
Well, because when the first season came out, that was
and the second
everyone
season
by storm.
Yeah, the second season too. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, I gotta watch it." No, but yeah, I heard like the first couple. Obviously, the first couple episodes are gonna come out, and that was that. That's all. That's what I heard.
I'm scared for the community.
Oh yeah, me too. The community is dying. Like, honestly, I feel like I haven't heard a lot about like anime or anything. So I feel like once Attack on Titan comes out, like
hopefully
the
that'll bring us back a bit.
That's gonna be out here. And also another game. I know we're talking
all about games.
All about games. Anime, what? No, but all about games. But recently there has been a drop on April 20th, just like one of the God of War. Yeah. There has been a mobile game out of Harry Potter.
Oh God.
Harry Potter.
Here we go.
Hogwarts Mystery. It's a big game. A lot of people have, some things to say about it. But honestly, I will tell you about that in a second. But it's a mobile game where you can be sorted into your house. You play your house. Yeah. You obviously have this person who is going to assist you, like be your like a little Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
This takes in the middle of. Isn't the Attack on Titan this summer? I heard that, so in July, because July is the summer.
No, it's summer, yeah.
July is summer, so it's July, I have not been looking at that. I feel bad. July, it's supposed to be coming July. Ooh! It's supposed to be coming.
Just go.
I know. It's supposed to be coming July 22nd of this year. So in the summer.
In the summer.
Anyways, back to the Harry Potter game. It's a mobile game. It's like a little run through. It's like you get the Hogwarts experience between the Marauder era, which is Harry Potter's dad and his mom and Godfather and everyone.
Yeah.
And then between Harry Potter's era. So it's between there. So you meet Tonks in the same year as Tonks and I think Charlie. And I think you might see Bill a little bit, but I'm not sure. And you're between them, and you go through your 7 years, and you. Yay!
Me too.
Me too. We go through the years.
Yeah.
And you go by chapters basically. Okay. So I think there's like 10 chapters each.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like 10 chapters each. Year.
Okay.
And you have to complete three big tasks.
Yeah.
2 charms, and sometimes you take flying lessons, and then sometimes you're doing like
that
potions.
Sounds really complicated.
It's a mobile game. It's really complicated and it's time consuming.
Yeah.
But I feel like we haven't got a Harry Potter something in so long. Like I mean we're getting we got the Fantastic Beasts, but we haven't got anything like game related in so long. There's only I think they dropped one when the Sorcerer's Stone came out. I think they dropped a game for I think PC or something like that. They dropped that game, but other than that, there hasn't been really any games.
I feel like it is still at its core a book series. And that's probably why they're more focused on movies and all that stuff. If that makes sense.
So Snape's the teacher. He's still as mean as ever. And I don't know why though, because he's
supposed to be nicer. To different.
Yeah, because but then again, you do spoiler. Sorry for everyone. Spoiler. Well, I mean, it's not really a spoiler. You find out in the first chapter, but spoiler to the first chapter. You have this brother, and he's supposedly
expelled, right?
Yeah, expelled. He's expelled, and he is supposedly he just disappeared one night. So they think he's expelled. He did all these things, and he tried to find these curse vaults, which you'll.
Yeah. I will get that. You can continue.
Curse vaults and everything. So, we're trying to find what happened, and so far. So far we're trying to figure out how to go about this. I haven't done everything but we do have a girl. We have a girl who is actually evil, so to say, like a Draco Malfoy of this. Like a Draco Malfoy of this whole thing.
I brought my friend Gage, who's now joining us. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just.
Well, what are you guys doing?
We're talking. Have you heard about the Harry Potter game?
They're coming out with the new one.
They already came out with. They came out with a mobile game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's been everywhere. It's like, I think it's been trending on Tumblr for like a week straight.
Yeah.
Like in the top like 7 or 10. I think like, I don't know how many they have, but it's like in the top, like either it was like second for one time I looked and then like bottom for like the next. Anyways, it's a gameplay. You do have energy, and that's what a lot of people hate about it. A lot of people hate.
I feel like any kind of like energy-based game.
Everyone hates energy.
Everyone hates. I personally do as well. Because I'm like, I just want to get this done.
Yeah, you want to get it done. But I also think it's really good because you're pacing yourself.
True.
And it's like, I want to go through Hogwarts, like
through the full experience.
Yeah, through the full experience. Not go through the whole game in like one day. Like, I understand that's what some people do. In that case, you would have to spend money. Like, you would have to spend money to buy energy. And I understand, like.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 11 o'clock. And we have got too much going on. You guys are going to have to split yourself into like 4 people. Because I got Daryl Frazzetti, the legendary educator who travels around shows, and he talks about how Star Trek and Star Wars talks about the connection to life and social science. It's amazing. You need to check that out. We also have our panel with Patrick Beja from Helsinki, Finland, talking about Blizzard.
Thanks for interrupting us.
I need to get in here.
We got D&D happening inside the 1109 room, right here off of the main dealer's room.
I'm gonna end up taking photos of people.
I'm gonna stay with you
to all of you like the
and then you also got, we just got the LARPers showing us. The LARPers are here, they're here.
Hogwarts, just
We're just testing each other with swords.
And then we'll do the interviews after this,
And then we also have a game room about to open at 11 o'clock.
And then we're going to have to, then I'm gonna have to do the, I can do this, because I have to take pictures, I'm gonna take pictures of some interviewers. So I'm gonna stay with you, the interviewers, then we have to set up my thing after the interviews.
We got our cosplay panels happening right now. We got LARPers. We got cosplay. We got video games. We got everything happening.
We got everything happening. Everything.
No, but like if we do the live streams, we can, if we hurry up and do some of them, we can get all done and have some time to set up and sell stuff and then leave it to someone.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Anyways, so it's an energy-based game. The Harry Potter game, by the way, because it's people who tuned in, if they tuned in now.
Oh, so you're doing a live stream?
Yes.
Oh.
What do you think we're doing?
I didn't know. Like you started talking about the Harry Potter game and then started talking shit about it. I was like, are you guys like sending a video to them?
We're not. No.
Like,
it's a strongly worded essay. No, it's a strongly worded video production of the Harry Potter. No, I'm not talking shit about it. I'm saying like what people talk shit about. Because like a lot of people talk shit about it because it's energy-based game. But I feel like that's how they're gonna get their money.
Yeah. Because it's a free game, right?
Yeah, it is a free game. It's free to get it, and it's free for everything. You don't have to like after a certain time. At least I don't think so. I've been playing it for a while, and usually they do things like that. It's a free game up until if you want to buy more energy, and I feel like someone's like, I bought so much energy. I'm like, that's your fault.
Since 2003, as a college instructor, my degrees in biology and anthropology. Basically, I'm a biological anthropologist. Most of my work has been in infectious diseases and skeletal remains. And because, I'll give you the brief story, because my cats dressed up in one of the two Trekkies documentaries, I got to Tahoe in 2004 to go to UNR, and I wanted to teach again like I was doing in Illinois while I was in grad school. And this guy in Tahoe, who was department chair of sociology and anthropology, emails me back, and he says, "Ooh, you're an anthropologist, and you're the guy with the cats and the Trekkies films, right?" I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm never working." I really didn't think I ever would. I mean, technically speaking, it all started when I was trying to pick up these girls at a Baltimore convention and they wanted to dress my cat. And you know what all you would do, you would let the girls dress your cat so you could try to get a date. That's how this all began in my life. And then I realized the cat was a chick magnet, and so I started entering him in more costume contests. Before you know it, I'm meeting Denise Crosby at a con in Boston I was at with a friend of mine. And they're like, oh, this is a Trekkie cat. Oh, we gotta put him in this movie. And I've been doing the movies every time they go and make another sequel. And my cats, whatever cats I have at the time, dress up and in the movie. So when I applied for this teaching job in Tyler, the guys all over me. And it's like, my gosh, I've only taken 3 cultural classes in my whole life. Yeah, but I was doing biological anthropology. Why would I take more culture classes? But you want the job, right? So you don't say no. So I went up and met with him. He says, hey, in 2006, this was, he said he wanted me to develop a Star Trek class. I passed out, got in front of him. I'm like, what do I know about culture? I took 3 classes that I needed. I was on a different track. So I contacted former professors that I had, and for 3 months I worked and got up to speed on culture, more than I ever had, and put together the first class. Yeah, it was hard work to do the first class. And it was in class, and we got people started contacting me to write publications, contribute things to their books. Even to their websites, start doing fandom research, all kinds of stuff started happening. And it was hard for me to adjust at first because I really wanted to do the other stuff. But it's like, you know what, whatever's working and paying the bills, I'm going to do. And it became fun, but it was hard at first for me too because I was a fan and that was my hobby. So my hobby became work. And that made it a little more challenging and still can be at times. Because when I do talks like this, I've been doing these talks since 2007. I'm always updating them. I'm always writing something. Last year, my book, Anthropology of Star Trek, came out finally, which was in response to the fact we had no textbook for the course. There wasn't anything we could use. So I just designed the textbook. And, yeah, I've got copies over at my base if you want to come and see. And then I went and did 2 years of field work, and I went to as many cons as I could around the country and collected fan data to put together a portrait of fans and their culture. That was hard to pull myself out of because I'm a fan too, and I grew up a fan. That was my gateway into science fiction when I was 8. So I was watching the reruns on UHF channels, and you guys don't even know what UHF is. Okay, so that's good. So it's time to sign me up to the nearest rest home. You make sure you make arrangements for that. I just dated myself by mentioning
honestly,
UHF.
I think we should put you in a mental facility.
Well, probably so after today, yes. And they should have done that long ago. But when I started teaching the class, there was such a response to it and such a demand once the word got out and I started doing these conventions that we put the class online. And subsequent to that came my Star Wars class, my Indiana Jones class, the Middle Earth class, my xenolinguistics class. That was a blast. That's all alien languages. And I actually taught some. It's fun. Oh my gosh, you gotta have fun. Learning's supposed to be fun. Okay, so yeah, you stick around, we'll fix that for you. Anyhow, I don't know, do any of you guys know anything about Star Trek?
Not really. Other than it's very complex.
It is, the show itself, the original 1960s show, almost didn't get aired. The original pilot, which became a 2-part episode later in the series itself, was not bought by the network. The original episode, called The Cage, they thought was too intellectual and that audiences wouldn't respond to it. They wanted action. That's why Hollywood's all gone now too. Even all the new Star Trek films, some of them look like Star Wars films.
That's why people confuse it with Star Wars.
Well, yeah, JJ put it together to look like a Star Wars film too. It's like, wow, now we know what the new Star Wars is going to look like. And a lot of people responded like that. That's exactly the comment that I would see on Facebook posts.
Or Twitter.
And it's funny. And it's like, my gosh, but Hollywood in general, for people to spend the money and go see a film, they need to be entertained now. They don't want to think. So that alone represents a huge transition in our culture. And I mean, you look at the education system, you guys are not doing anything near the kind of work that we were doing back in the day. You know, I say back in the day. You know, but I mean, before all the standardization came in, before all the standardized testing, before No Child, before, you know, when Common Core, any of that stuff came to be, we actually were learning in the classroom. Teachers had all kinds of academic freedom. And we were doing book reports. We were doing all kinds of hands-on projects. We had to become independent learners and learn how to critically think and analyze and problem solve. Now they're just trying to get through the standards. And so in a lot of ways that hurts the public school system. You know, and it's sad, but comics and science fiction, you know, have become part of that whole thing where even Harry Potter's books, have you seen the ones that they've written overseas compared to the ones they've released in the United States? They're very dumbed down in terms of the language.
Oh, like, is it over here or over there?
Over here. The language is very different. The words that they use
I have no
are
idea
meant
what
to
this
meet
is.
with their level of education and
Is that
comprehension,
the stream
as opposed to
or
what's being
is that the
written and
slideshow?
published in the
Like
United States.
it's just
Even the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, you know, they lowered their standards to meet with the level of the readers. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
readers.
earlier it was like
So all of this
it
really
was
does
all
have some
like
correlation
hangouts,
because
right?
people aren't going
Could
to
be that.
movies now to understand the story
I don't know.
and to relate social meanings to it. You know, they want to see action, they want to be entertained. But even all our social media is like that now. Who actually reads the stories and the articles that are put on Facebook, or are you just responding to a little caption headline and making some, yeah, see, you're one of them.
It's fine.
I do, and it's like, would you please read what's been posted, you know, and but people aren't doing that anymore. So, you know, there was an old TV show called Sliders. I don't know if anybody ever saw, Hulu has it. You look up this show, it's fantastic. It's about alternate timelines to Earth, and this physics student develops a way to access portals. He has no control over them, so they never know where they slide to next. But one version of Earth, my goodness, you know, people all just plugged in and tuned out. They had no idea what was going on, you know. And you've seen Wall-E, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we could have we could have a whole class on Wall-E. Same kind of thing. What happens when they discover that, you know, some plant exists anymore? Oh my goodness, there's a plant. What are we going to do? We can't handle this. We've gotten all fat and lazy and comfy here. What are we supposed to do now?
Try to make the grass green again?
It rattles the world.
Don't say that.
So, I mean, and a lot of these things, comics and sci-fi, still are, you know, despite some of the problems and some of the correlations with the lack of comprehension or attention span or whatever's going hand in hand with changes in education, changes in you know, media, social media, science fiction and comics, anime, all of these genres are still valid ways to get social messages and educate, you know, people through. Star Trek started it all back in the 60s. Star Trek was Gene Roddenberry's baby. When they rejected the first one, the first pilot, he did get permission finally. And Lucia Ball had a huge role in really pushing for the show because she owned the studio. And they wanted the show. So they got lucky with some assistance, and a second pilot was done. It was more action-oriented, like a Western in space. And, you know, they bought it. He got so many things past the networks, you know, in his original series during the 60s. But his show, his version of Star Trek, was a response to what was going on in society. You had all kinds of social movements taking place during the 60s. You had a push, oh my goodness, I said this, he's trying to think of what happened in the 60s over here. I love the look on his face. He's like, my goodness, take the movement. It wasn't just civil rights. All kinds of groups were jumping on that bandwagon and pushing for their rights and equality as well. And Reason being is I can pull a show from 50-something years ago, show it to you guys right now, and it's going to hold water to what's happening in our world. Science fiction, according to Isaac Asimov, oh my God, we got to hold this room for the whole day and educate the children. I know this is streaming now, isn't it? Yep. I'm teaching them about Asimov, my gosh. Anyhow, Asimov defines science fiction as the one vehicle that could save humanity because messages about ourselves and the human condition and all the problems in our world, usually the issues are usually represented through an alien life form and an alien society, and reflect back at us, and the humans have to deal with what is happening with them, particularly with Star Trek. Star Trek used the alien culture very well for dealing with the human condition.
When you want to start the stream?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it hasn't started.
Wait.
I don't think we even started.
20 now we don't have no stream.
I don't.
We get into trouble now. There's no stream.
I thought this was the stream, but no, this right here was a timer. And then wait.
That's awesome. That's a mic. This gets better by the hour.
We've
been here several of them now, right? Hours. Yeah. Anyhow, science fiction really does represent a window into different kinds of arguments. The utopic outcomes with Star Trek, you did all this crap, you can overcome it and have this feature if you want. And here's how you follow us to get there. And that message during an incredibly, exceedingly turbulent time in human history inspired so many people to get on the Star Trek bandwagon. Yeah, but it influenced people's political careers. It brought people into educational careers. It brought people into scientific careers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about how many people were influenced. At the time, Michelle Nichols, Lieutenant Uhura, who sits on the bridge and just kind of had the phone operator there. At one point after the first season, she wanted to leave the show because she didn't feel she was important. And it's like, well, you're a bridge officer. You're a black woman. It's huge in the middle of the late 1960s, 66 and 69 was one of the original series. She still wanted off the show because she didn't feel like her character was developing and she had any real purpose. Martin Luther King Jr. got into that and convinced her of how important it was to see a black woman in a significant officer position on the bridge of the Starship in that setting. She stayed. Whoopi Goldberg tells a story to this day. That's why Whoopi Goldberg fought long and hard to be on Star Trek Next Generation. Whoopi Goldberg never would have gone into the education field at all. I mean, the entertainment field at all, rather. And gone on to do the things she's done, politically even, as a real driving force, if she hadn't seen Michelle Nichols on the screen. And her direct quote is that Whoopi Goldberg saw Michelle Nichols on the screen, went screaming to her mother all around the house. She said, "There's a black woman on TV and she ain't no maid." And it blew her away. And she wanted to go on and be like that and do important things. In the 1970s, even, after the show had finished its run, it only ran for 3 years, but the impact has lasted over 50. And the franchise is growing and expanding in all kinds of ways, and there's all kinds of people that follow this for various reasons. But in the 70s, Michelle Nichols was hired by NASA to recruit minorities and to recruit women into the space program. She's been in space herself. This is not only a woman in the 70s, it's a black woman in the 70s recruiting women and minorities for NASA. That's the kind of impact that Star Trek has had. And I hate to say it, but a lot of your technology that you use is a result of Star Trek. And people that were influenced by Star Trek to create these things in their world. Video conferencing? You think that's just cool everyday stuff that you do? Watch Star Trek sometimes. We had video conferencing in the 60s. We didn't have 3D replicators in the 60s. This is all Star Trek technology that people were inspired to create. There are 3 doctors I'm going to show you that actually have created a real working medical transport. They won a contest by some corporation, I mean, thousands, millions of dollars for creating this tricorn. We have these things available to us. We have full body scans in our medical imaging repertoire. Star Trek was doing the flip phone. You are too young to know what a flip phone was.
I still own
Yeah,
it.
that's fun. This is funny. Oh, you do?
I still
Oh,
own it.
this is nice. You know the one. You need to show them this lovely antique. Don't let them touch it. It's an antique. Well, this came from the old Star Trek communicator. When phones were being created, this is what happened. The first real Android was based on the character data from the next generation. The scientists in China wanted to create an Android like data, so he did. I will go on. So when I quote Kirk, you guys know who Captain Kirk is. Don't scare me. You know who William Shatner is? Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, dude.
Oh, you're killing me here. You need to, how do you not know who William Shatner is? The guy's 86 and he's all over everything. You know who William Shatner is.
He's the original Captain Kirk.
Yeah. You can fix him sooner or later, right? Now they got a bullhorn in there? Oh my gosh, what are we doing now? Put the bullhorn, okay, don't scare me when the bullhorn comes on.
Me neither.
Anyhow.
Don't scare me either.
Okay.
This is really a quote from Kirk in an original series episode. The dream that became reality and spread throughout the stars. That defines Star Trek. William Shatner has hosted a series on the History Channel. And it's about how Star Trek created.
I think we're losing now.
They'll come back. Created multipolar worlds. And how important Star Trek has been. The world we live in today. Socially, technologically, even a lot of politically. Yeah, whatever you guys need to go do. I'm sure we're still streaming, but that's fine. Did you get in?
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, get some pictures too.
Go somewhere else.
Did I make a change? Oh, I did.
Yeah, you
Well,
did.
now I need to update that because we have 6 or 7 captains at this point because Discovery has come along and said, see that guy in the tie there? That's William Shatner.
You know what the bow tie, right?
Yeah, no. He doesn't know who William Shatner is. Just saying. Man, I know. It's tough for your teachers to get all these things into education these days. So I have some buttons at my table too. I'll get this on at some point again someplace. But now we've got, original series, Next Generation, Enterprise, Voyager. That was the top of the world when they decided to create a female captain. You can come in and say if we don't bite.
No.
You probably saw some of our earlier streaming. Now he's terrifying to be near us. It's okay, it's understandable.
No, I'm just surveying the room.
Okay. Anyhow, we thought we scared people earlier. With some of the streaming, we didn't know maybe we were streaming. And Avery Brooks comes in as the first person of color to command the space station. So in a lot of ways, Star Trek has been very groundbreaking in its roles. The female character roles that it's created through all the series, it could be played by a man or a woman, the roles they create. One very important episode was the final episode, episode 79 of the original series, which was called Turnabout Intruder. And because of the constraints of real time in the 20th century, you could never have gotten away with putting a female in command. So that last episode revolves around the fact that, hey, we're in the 23rd century. There's a woman who can't be a starship captain, and she attacks Kirk, gets him into this chamber where they swap their, kind of like Freaky Friday.
They swap bodies.
They swap bodies. So he becomes her, she becomes Captain Kirk, And finally, the crew catches on. Spock's really the one that really does catch on. And they finally put him back. So it was just a story that was designed to show, you know, women are still frustrated. They're not gaining equality, and why can't they have that? We can't even, you know, portray that in the 23rd century. So it was a very interesting episode, but Star Trek really did make science fiction mainstream. Star Trek was a gateway to a lot of science fiction. People started reading more science fiction. More science fiction was able to be produced because of Star Trek. Now, when this was dying down after it ended its run in '69, all right, the '70s spawned Star Trek conventions. People connected from all over the globe. The very first one in New York City in 1972. They figured that there was just a bunch of fans that said, hey, let's get together and talk about what we collect and what we like about Star Trek. They started asking some of the guests, you know, the guests in, like George Takei, Walter Koenig, Leonard Nimoy, they were invited to this. And they said, are you guys really going to pay our way? Well, hell, we'll go. You want to pay for me to fly someplace and put me up in a hotel? Okie dokie. I'll come meet you and your friends. Fire marshals were concerned. They had this. We didn't even have the internet to spread the word. People to people. We used to write letters, pen pals. This is funny. I love him. He has no concept of world history. Hey, I mean, I'm the person they tell to put down my phone down. I didn't grow up with this, which is hysterical that I'm now addicted. Okay, but yeah. Anyhow, you know, thousands of people showed up and wanted into this convention. They were not prepared for this. That's how widespread this has been, and not just here in the United States. This is global. There's a Star Trek convention every weekend somewhere around the globe. Every weekend. There are people in countries that want to see that future in their lifetime. People that go into all sorts of careers to make that possible. Whether it's political, education, you know, social sciences in some way, some science or technology field. They want that future to happen, and they want to see people become just humans. One big theme of Roddenberry's Star Trek is a philosophy known as humanism. If you ever read the Amnesty International website and the basic rights humans have or should have in this world as a whole, it reads exactly like the Constitution for the United Federation of Planets that Roddenberry and Star Trek wrote. And the philosophy of humanism. People are just people. We shouldn't have all this other nonsense, but we're humans, and we have this culture we've constructed, and we do very interesting things because of it all. But there is an American Humanist Society based out of Arizona, and Gene Roddenberry's former assistant has been the head of it for years. And there's humanist conventions all over the globe.
So that's
But that's when I teach in a class. I've had students honestly come up to me. Caleb Fry, the guy with the bird's nest hair, the ripped up jeans, and the floppy moccasins falling off his feet. One day, this guy comes up to me. I was teaching a bioantro class, and he comes up to me. It was like 2007 or 8, and he thanked me for not treating him differently. And I'm just looking at him like, what in the hell are you talking about? Well, people judged him because of how he dressed and his bird's nest kind of thing he had going on with his hair. I said, that doesn't happen to me. But you know what? I've been influenced by Star Trek. So it's a bigger part of me than I ever realized. But that's just my approach to life. That's why I get frustrated so many times when I see kids around me. And one of the biggest questions I always ask my classes, when I talk to that class, is this not only a possible future outcome, but is it really plausible? Can we pull this off? Or will we be the cause of our own extinction? There's also the dystopic side of science fiction, which looks at how we follow the same human paths, but have a very negative outcome, as opposed to a very positive outcome. So there's two types of science fiction, utopic and dystopic. This is the utopic. Yeah, go ahead and And if it weren't for Star Wars coming along in the 1970s, Star Trek probably never would have seen that first film produced, or maybe some of the other series that have come along.
Star Wars helped Star Trek.
Star Trek helped Star Wars become a reality, but Star Wars helped bring Star Trek back. So they really needed each other for this to work.
Cool.
I know, and people like, oh, are you a Star Wars fan or are you a Star Trek? I mean, why can't you do both? I got both. You know, and they're two different entities altogether. Star Trek is science fiction. It deals with the human condition. It deals with real human issues, social issues. Star Wars does not. Star Wars is more like science fantasy or space opera kind of thing, more so than Star Trek. Anyhow, even Star Trek tried to have an influence. There's a website called Trek Against Trump, and there was a statement put out during the elections in 2016. And I put it in the PowerPoint at the time when I was presenting this at Reno Comic Con. And I've met my share of very conservative Republican folks at Star Trek conventions. Nothing wrong. Star Trek draws people from all walks of life, depending on how it speaks to that person. There are people, though, that, you know, through the franchise, the actors, that, you know, tend to be very liberal. And they started this movement to get people to try to think that the ideals of Star Trek were going to be torn apart, and this could cause universal disasters if Trump had been elected. Everything that Star Trek had worked for and tried to create on a global scale was about to become devastated if Donald Trump got in. So they started this movement. And the response was phenomenal to it. But that's the power that Star Trek has had, and the way that it's been able to really grasp and influence an entire society, an entire global society. You know, at this point, we're so connected globally, you know, and it had that kind of an influence. So this is something that Star Trek actually stood out there and put forth and tried to get people to really think about what was happening, what they stood for, and what they saw as a threat to all the progress they had made. So they really plunged in as a whole, as a franchise, and came together and united for this particular issue. Go ahead and hit the next slide. Basically, if anybody knows what okay, now I'm going to ask the $1 million question. I shouldn't ask any more questions. Who knows what anthropology is?
I looked it up, but I forgot.
Same, I forgot. I looked it up too.
I think it's a study of human behavior. Different? I don't know.
It is. He's got the best answer on the floor so far. It's the study of the overall human condition across space and time. The human past, the human present, the human future. Human linguistics. Everything about the human. Whether we have biological anthropology, which was my main area. And that extends to medical anthropology, forensic anthropology, paleontology, human and non-human primate evolution. Okay? You've got archaeology, which is obviously artifacts in the human past. Linguistic anthropology, which is the study of the evolution, origin and evolution of languages. And you've got cultural anthropology, which studies cultures of the past and present. It's a very interdisciplinary field as well. Geology and chemistry, biology, they all interact, particularly in archaeology. And we all interact with one another. You know, I've studied skeletal collections that have come out of archaeological sites. The archaeologist doesn't know what to do with the skeletons. The biological anthropologist does. So anthropology is everything that has to do with being human. No matter when that human or that culture existed or that language existed. Past, present, even looking at future outcomes or current patterns in our cultures. So that's anthropology in a nutshell. It looks to study the humans and the human condition, tries to explain what it means to be human. You guys have got to go watch an episode from Next Generation called Measure of Man. See, we got an expert in the room. We are going to have a good, these children have no idea what Star Trek is, but they're so kind to be here, and I love trying to teach them about this, because this is so important to learn, isn't it?
Yes.
You see?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So now I got you all on board with this. This is you. Oh yeah, you have hostage. You're assigned to me for the whole day. I like that. But yeah, Measure of Man was Starfleet was trying to take command and data away from the Enterprise, claiming that he's property. Yeah, it's an early, first season episode that second season episode. Thank you. That Next Generation had done, and the Enterprise crew set out to show that he was not just a machine.
Anyways, Peter can tell us about this. Yeah.
There's another episode that they did with the exocomps.
Yes.
These little machines that could go into places that humans couldn't go into. How you doing?
Good, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, anytime, I'm having a blast with these guys.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. So these little machines can go into places and do jobs that, where places where humans couldn't necessarily access, or that may be too dangerous for the human. Well, Data saw something in those exocomps. What happened with them?
They began to go off their program and decided instead to protect their own life. They saw themselves instead of going with the programming, investigate the situation where their own life or their own function could be destroyed. Decided no, they didn't want to. They let them get it because they wanted to preserve themselves.
They could think, for themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Data set out to prove it and stop them from being used as basically slave labor. But yeah, it was a great episode that was done on that. And looking at the role of the individual in the greater cultural scheme, I mean, my goodness, we can go on for decades and cite numerous examples from every film, every episode, every series that's ever been created about how powerful an individual really can be. The big thing about cultural change is that it takes somebody that thinks a little bit differently and is willing to put that out there in the public eye and fight for change that they see as necessary. You all know about genetics. We got a consensus on that one, that's good. All right, we all know about genetics. We know that physical traits are heritable and they're passed on through the generations. You know what memes are? Oh my goodness. You see what I've been working with here? Okay, I know. He's taking notes for all you teachers, don't worry. All right, but what memes are thought for behaviors? And cultures set up the rules for how they operate. And they actually act as a selective process, the way nature acts on biological genetics. So, we deem that to be a bad thing in our culture, so we're going to leave that out. Well, you think differently? Let's see where we can send you so that doesn't spread in our society. We don't want that. That's bad. That's going to change. People in power, that currently hold power, do not want such changes to occur in their society. And you, that little person on the outside of our room here, thinking very differently, trying to bring about these changes and influence other people in their thinking to make those changes happen. Well, we can't have that. So really, the culture sets up guidelines for how people are supposed to think and act, right? And what our sense of our cultural sense of ethics and morals is supposed to be. But everybody's got their own individual sense of ethics and their own individual moral compasses, obviously, right? And so we're able to use those. Think of any figure in history that's ever stood out and brought about massive change. I'm waiting for, you can think of a dozen and one. I'm waiting for these guys. They're all nodding their heads. Oh, yes. We could say Martin Luther King Jr., that's somebody you guys all know, right? He thought differently, and he pushed for massive social change, right? All it takes is one person. Whether you're doing it on a small scale level, like something in your school, something in your town, it doesn't matter what level you're operating on. If you find that there's another way that we can do things, to make improvements to who we are as people, to who we are as a species, even if it's just on the small level of your school or your community or your neighborhood, whatever, and you step forward and you make that happen. You see all the time, people on the news, they did this great thing for their community, great thing for their school. That's how changes happen. One person has a great deal of power. And that's what propels cultural change on any level, is the use of that power. People usually don't go home and think about, wow, oh, my vote doesn't make a difference. What am I going to vote for? One stinking vote. Well, should I do that? It's not going to make a difference. Really? You have no idea how powerful the voice of one person really is, because that can propel an entire movement and drive some real changes, right? So, and of course, concern with biological and cultural preservation. This is all what Star Trek represents. It's been around for over 50 years, you know. They can't comprehend 50 years. I'm loving this. Oh my goodness, go to the next slide. So this is right. I like doing this because this takes me out of what the usual presentation is, because I do it for people that come to these things at conventions because they're there to talk Star Trek. And sometimes we broken up fights. No joke, it's happened.
A lot of people here talking about Star Trek right now.
And to have people sitting in front of you that have no concept of what Star Trek even is absolutely wonderful. You know what, whenever I do these presentations, sometimes I get emails from people that see me at a huge venue, and I have no idea who they are. Or I will hear something years later. And somebody will say, yeah, I saw you at this talk, and this is what happened. Somebody had sent me a Washington Post article, gosh, or was it Seattle Times? It was Seattle Times. And Washington Post was ASAHiCon. Seattle Times, was it Seattle? No, this was out of Utah. It was Salt Lake City. And somebody had sent me a link they had found. And a school had cited my work. College had cited my work on Star Wars. And they had set up an entire exhibit in the Anthropology Museum and had an entire Star Wars weekend to show what Star Wars had done to impact our culture. I was blown away by this. They cited me. Holy shit. Pass out at you. To do these things can be a very humbling experience for me. And, I always wonder, even when I teach general classes, is there one, even if I planted one seed someplace, or maybe you walk out and you hope you planted a seed somewhere. And you're like, holy crap. And if you ever do get feedback and you see something like that happen, it's like, wow. Something simple like that display out there at Salt Lake that drew in so many people to participate in Star Wars Culture Day was like, wow, I did that to someone. And that really blows you away when you see that your work meant that much. When you see, that what you do has real meaning and can really make change. So that's part of why I still like to teach and why I love to get up and do stuff like that. Beats teaching about polynomials sometimes too. Polynomials is a word you should know. Oh my gosh.
The math of the polynomial?
Yeah, at least he knows the math polynomial.
Next slide.
My goodness, what are we going to do with you? I'm going to have to send you for a lockdown session with your friends here. Anyhow, some of the cultural themes that we see in Star Trek. Political, which political theme do you want to discuss today? We got more to talk about on these. Economics is the Star Trek, in the Star Trek future, they've created something called the United Federation of Planets, right? And they have a constitution that they abide by. And they have a non-interference directive that prohibits them from interfering with the progress of another culture. Okay. Similar to what anthropology has, we have an ethical directive that doesn't allow when you're observing another culture to interfere with it in any way or influence it in any way. And so there's a dozen and one political systems out there in non-federation worlds, even in federation worlds. And it sets up conflict, but it also sets up a way to examine other political structures or political problems. Gosh, if I go back to the original series, the whole Cold War was laid out for you right there. with the Federation being the United States. We had the Klingons. Am I saying strange words now? Who knows what a Klingon is?
Klingon. I know the tiniest bit of Star Trek because my dad loves it.
My goodness, you need to go home and spend more time with your father. All right, so who were the Klingons and who were the Romulans in the scheme of the Cold War?
Well, they were parallels to Russia.
Oh.
Russia or kind of any other like communist. They were strictly communist. The idea was they were meant to be a more strict tyrannical systems against that of the Federation, which is more democratic and utopian.
And so other cultures, alien cultures, represented the part of the conflict or the part of the human condition that we wanted to actually explore. And that's a great use of the alien. It still is today and a lot of other things. Economic systems. My goodness, we've got the Ferengi with the rules of acquisition. Oh, the Ferengi are a fine economic system to study sometime, where they have all the women be barefoot and pregnant, naked all the time, and not allowed to own anything. And it's all about accumulating wealth with the males. And they do some fancy things. You guys gotta watch Chase Night sometime and get up to speed on these fine Ferengi folks. There's a poster out called The Rules of Acquisition for Business. And I know so many business instructors that have these posters hanging up with books on this stuff. The Rules of Acquisition for the Ferengi. You really want to be successful in business, you need to become a Ferengi. The Orion slave trade. We've got that system going on. The green women. Now, I'm getting those, and I didn't know all these blank stares, but we got so much work to do with these boys. All right? The system that I highlight through some of my writing, and I've highlighted by doing, I mean, when we teach a class on this, we have, of course, a whole section devoted to each one of these topics. The convention version is, okay, you got 3 seconds with this. Have a nice day. But to really cover this topic is difficult. But post-scarcity economy. I was asked one time at a Comic-Con in 2010 in San Diego. There's always somebody that's going to ask some question that they think they're the know-it-all and smart guy about. Then you should have heard the way the guy presented the question. He was all pissed off about our economy and the recession that we've been going through. And he raises his little hand up there in the back, and he jumps up, and he says, well, you're talking about all this stuff Star Trek has influenced and taught us how to do differently. And everybody calls it the blueprint. Well, how come it hasn't taught us how to change our economic problems? He said, well, it has. Star Trek, the Federation itself, is set up to be a post-scarcity society. If you look at a couple of these things, we're fighting right now for a living wage. There's a couple of places, if you can click on those links, will those come up for us?
Yeah, oh, hold on.
I hope.
They should.
Okay. I have 2 on basic living wages.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I hope it's not show up in there.
Okay. Well, Hawaii is one of the states I wanted to talk about. Hawaii is looking at creating a system where people are just paid a basic income.
Wait, there we go.
If they're not already at a level, even if they're working, we need to help you because you're not at this level. And so we're going to pay you. Our government, our state government is going to give you money, and we're going to set up. Basically, they're laying the foundation for this post-scarcity type of economic system in one state. Okay, did it work?
Oh, hold on. I gotta move this down and open Internet Explorer.
Oh, this gets very interesting over here. I'm not one of the tech people, I'm the book person. But he seems to have a handle on making that work. It did? Did it?
It's not, it doesn't want to come up now. Hold on. Oh, because I think I need to get out of this real fast, and then I can.
Okay, because I hyperlinked it in, so if you click it, it should just open.
I know, I clicked it, but it did open. It's just.
Now the whole thing went someplace.
There we go. Now it's. Yeah, I gotta do it like this. Yeah.
All right. This is also something that's been going on for the last couple of years. All right, scroll down a little bit. I wanted to show them the main part of this here. Okay?
I want to stop.
Okay, go ahead and stop. Okay? What's happening is the big fear, one of the biggest things to ever hit science fiction has been the idea of man and machine. 2001 did a phenomenal job of showcasing the relationship of man and machine, and our fears about that. Who isn't afraid of being replaced by a robot? Who is really? What job do you plan on having?
Repairing the robot?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, he might be okay. All right, but if AI really takes off and takes over, and they wipe out or swamp out or overpower the human society, where are you going to be left? Oh, we got that theme too. You haven't seen any of those things, and that goes beyond Star Trek. We could even show, Robbie the Robot when he made the Whipple's department store appearance in Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Ah! Oh my God, I'm going to go into cardiac arrest soon up here.
It was also a TV show, black and white, half-hour episode. It's between the core fantasy and science fiction. This one's about the economic implications when what companies would use technology to supplant human workers. And what happens when they went too far.
So, yeah, you got to see Twilight Zone.
Interesting.
Anyhow, really, do people sit around and play video games? Do they create new things? What are people supposed to be doing? Are people happy, fulfilled? If you watch Star Trek, especially Next Gen, it's all about focusing on self-improvement. Because they don't have any wants or desires or problems anymore. Over here, what's going on with these tech guys, they want to create, really, a basic income, right? Do you like being in fear that you can't eat or pay your rent tomorrow? Are there other things you'd rather do and rather focus on? Do you like having a long lifespan? Post-scarcity society, post-scarcity economic model won't allow that to happen. There's people that are really working with this now. So from here to the other one, which was Hawaii, but if you go back to the PowerPoints real quick, see if you can bring up the Hawaii link.
I could probably bring it up. Hold on. Go to the.
Hawaii's been really groundbreaking with pushing this.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hold up. I need to go back in the. Is that mode? Is it up?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I don't recommend letting me touch any of it.
There we go.
I'm not a tech person, so I'm not a geek. I'm more of a nerd.
Same thing.
I don't use screwdrivers at home. I finally gave up trying to use the screwdriver. It was best for all. But the second link, we don't have to go there. But that's,
I got it working.
You did?
Yeah, I got to pop up. I just gotta
put
get
all
this
these
up.
on my website, and I posted them on the ASAHiCon Facebook last night too. So you can get these, or you can contact me, and I'll send them to you too, along with anything else you want.
Escape, and there, it's up. You gotta wait for it to go back.
Okay. What Star Trek did. All you have to do is read the headline. You can always go to the article and get it off my link, so I'll be happy to send it to you if you want to email it. Star Trek influenced people to this extent. Well, we have people that have grown up with it. Even the repeat generation that's grown up with it. Or people may have come in through seeing one of the films. How did you enter fandom? What got you? A lot of traditional purist fans shunned the 2009 movie and every film that has come after that. Non-canon. This is not my Star Trek. I will not see this. Because I accept all things Batman, but there's those fans too that will not accept all things Batman. They're going to kill each other someday over that, just like the Star Trek fans. And gosh, my survey, when I did that, I had fans coming out of the woodwork fighting me to the death. You need to make sure people know that. And you need to make sure. I even did a study follow-up for that because Paramount, CBS had contacted me and said, well, we need this because we can't connect with our fans. And as a longtime fan, I could have said on the phone, no shit, really? Let me explain to you why that is. But no, I took the money and did their survey work for me. But when people got wind of that, I had them coming up, make sure, and remember this, and it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, the Star Trek fandom is a culture unto itself. A lot of people have classified it as a subculture, but no. It is a diverse, evolving culture. So no matter how you came into Star Trek, no matter how, whether it was through the comic books, the games, one of the films, one of the TV shows, people tend to come in and then watch the rest of it to find out what it's all about. You came in somehow, so what was your gateway to it? And then where did you go from there? So this has been going on for over 50 years now. You've got people that recognize this economic system that's been presented. That guy at Comic-Con did not like it when I explained full scarcity society, economic models, doing that thing. But these are real. A lot of people don't know that about that model unless you're taking classes that teach you about that model. Or pick it up, through watching Star Trek and then going and doing some research to find out what's happening. But Hawaii, there's people that have been influenced. Every one of the 52 years I think we're at now, as they've come into Star Trek, and they go into these careers. And they go into ways of, they take pathways to try to solve some of these problems. And they use Star Trek as a model. You wouldn't believe how many people cite Star Trek as an influence in their life. I did a panel last June in Reno at our Challenger Space Center. We have a Challenger Learning Center in Reno. And they had Rod Roddenberry come out for it with his family. And they had me, and they had people from NASA, other disciplines, people who were comic book artists and writers, and asked us all to sit there and discuss our influences. People from all walks of life came, and we had this huge stage covered with people all responding to this question. You wouldn't believe how many times Star Trek came up. And why? So go ahead and go back to the slides. We're probably leaving this, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so flip down to the last couple of slides for me.
Which number? 20?
Yeah, go ahead, keep going. I'd say right up there, 21, real quick, and I can wrap this up. Most of my time today for this hour has been spent educating these guys on what Star Trek was to begin with, and we were kind of going in different directions. But I don't always get Star Trek virgins in an audience, or a whole audience of Star Trek virgins, and so that's what we call them. When we get people took my Star Trek class just because they thought it would be a joke and they'd fill a requirement, and we go, oh look, we got a virgin in the class. Star Trek fans are very interesting people. But there's the android that was created based on the character of Data. All right? We've got an entire lab that's been created to help people with speech impediments in Pennsylvania. It's a virtual reality lab where people can recover from injuries or illnesses that may have caused them speech difficulties. And it's run like a holonet. It operates like a holonet does. Gosh, we have fan filmmaking. We have you need to look up Warp 11. They're out of Sacramento. They're a nice punk rock Star Trek band. Love them. Do you think they're ready for Warp 11 yet? Oh my goodness. When the first space shuttle was rolled out, the original cast and crew was brought out. That was the Enterprise. That's the influence Star Trek has. All the way to Star Trek. I had a nice time with that on, by the way. And the Klingon keyboard. The guy is designing one for every language in the Federation right now. Flip one more slide real quick. All right. There's the Chinese android. She was modeled after that newscaster there. These are the doctors that just won a major grant prize for developing. This has been going on for a couple of years. This was a contest from a company out of San Diego to see who could actually develop a working medical tricorder.
A tricorder is the device in Star Trek that used to scan people on what's wrong with them, if they're ill health or whatever. So it's significant that they use the influence from a TV show, so that was fiction, that should create and make it into real life.
Yeah. MIT has a transporter that will transport small atoms. We have 3D printers that make food now. I'm going to have a food replicator someday, and I don't have to worry that I can't cook. This is Star Trek. It's going to be wonderful in my life someday. And this is Nichelle Nichols. To this day, this woman, I told him about the 70s, when the story of Martin Luther King, Whoopi Goldberg, which he's familiar with, and he was Star Trek connoisseur. and how she was taken by NASA, handpicked by NASA in the 70s. The 70s, a time women couldn't be part of NASA. Women couldn't hold any positions of power or influence. What, are you crazy? And she was a black woman. NASA took her and asked her, would you please be an ambassador for us? Would you please recruit minorities? Would you please recruit women? At a time when these things were not being done. They were unheard of. Even roll forward into the 90s when Captain Janeway was cast. The first actress, I mean, even fans reacted negatively to this. How dare you bring in a female captain? The first actress that was chosen failed. Kate Mulgrew took the role to create a hell of a captain. Very powerful female figure that many fans, female fans, came into Star Trek that way. They sat their daughters down to watch this show. Said, you be like that. This is the influence and the power of Star Trek. These are the things. I could show you these episodes from 50 years ago. Even let that be your last battlefield. Right. My goodness. The racial wars seem to be here. I want to turn on the TV. I said, what is this, 1960s? What am I watching? What's going on? Race riot somewhere. What the hell is happening? It's like, wait a minute. 2 steps forward, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back is what's happening. How is this happening in my world today? I can't even comprehend it. But that's why Star Trek and science fiction in general can be classified as contemporary mythology. Mythology about us and where we would like to take ourselves and how we want to maintain ourselves in the future as a species. The messages are not only just in Star Trek, but in science fiction in general. That's the kind of stuff that Asimov was telling people they need to pay attention to. Yeah, I know, I'm bringing them up to speed on these things. We have a little. I know. But this has been fantastic, guys. Go ahead and just put that to the end.
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
Slide 25?
I mean, we've got a real-life holodeck and everything else going on here. Go back one.
Oh.
Real-life holodecks have been created. The military even uses a lot of that technology now. You know, how do we even define life? There's research taking place to even find out if silicone-based life is possible. The quadrilaterally wheat from the old Trouble with Tribbles episode has been developed in Canada as a sustainable wheat. Sustainable development, predator-prey relations, they've done it all. Series after series after series after film. It's true when you pick up a book with a title on it that says everything I need to know about life, I learned from Star Trek. They make posters too. But there are people who have. And they're passing that on to you whether you realize it or not. You've been the beneficiary of the influence of Star Trek in some way. So thank you guys for being here and going through this with me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Last one.
Now look what I've done to the children. My goodness, whatever stuff becomes of.
You've created a new generation of Trekkies.